what is 86 anime about? Animes like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, One Piece, and Sword Art Online are considered the blockbusters of anime world because so many of us know them. But the anime I'm going to cover this video is not your typical everyday anime. It is somewhat obscure, but just as good as these. Behold, the 86 anime. Now, this may not be the most popular anime ever, but it has the potential to become a blockbuster size hit. It's basically a mecha anime that draws a lot of inspiration from the World War II. Other than that, it contains the themes of two star-crossed lovers, Shinei and Vladilena, which, if you ask me, is pretty much the best aspect of the anime as a whole. So if you are one of those viewers who had no clue that an anime like 86 existed, today is your lucky day because this video explains everything there is to know about 86 anime. Before we get into this video, show some love by hitting that like and subscribe button and get the chance to view more videos like this one. Let's begin. With each passing year, more and more famous light novel series are obtaining anime adaptations, and the year 2021 seems to be no exception in that scenario, as 86 is also an anime adaptation. It's from Asato Sci-Fi's light novel series produced by A1 Pictures. Its first episode premiered on April 10th, 2021, so it's safe to say that it's a new anime with a boatload of thrillers and romance. Now, let's dive into the story, shall we? '86 is a war-based anime between the Republic of San Magnolia and the Gideon Empire. At first, the two states lived in harmony. Later on, the Gideon Empire went astray and declared an attack on San Magnolia to take over the entire continent. This war is fought with a sequence of unmanned drones to support a feud with no casualties. The Republic is quite proud of how they handled the situation and makes viewers know by swaggering how humanitarian the war is and how they're scoring without any top-notch resources, but that's not the truth. Though it primarily suffered shocking losses to the Empire's self-directed mechanized legions, the Republic has since established its own sovereign units called Juggernauts. These robots are directed remotely by a handler, kind of like a pilot steering a ship. While the Republic believes the war is being brawled between machines on the surface, in reality, the Juggernauts are being handled by humans. They are 86ers, which is the designation given to the subhumans who were stripped and persecuted of their rights by the racist-led Alba government. Vladilena, Milize, or Lena, who is one of the leading characters, is assigned to supervise the Spearhead Squadron of the Eastern Front. Lena is a pedigree Alba, the dominant race of the Republic. At the mere age of 16, she earned the rank of Major in the Republic military. Despite being a pureblood, Vladilena does not discriminate against the 86ers. In fact, she is annoyed by the ongoing ignorance of the war and wants to put an end to it. The Spearhead Squadron, as said earlier, is an elite unit consisting entirely of 86er veterans whose squad leader is our main character, Shinei. Besides, leading the squadron of 86 into battle, our protagonist Shinei Nozain has a reckless fighting style and sports plenty of inner demons. He's the kind of guy who will do whatever it takes to protect his squad members but shows an absurd lack of care for his own life. As Vladilena gets to know Shinei and the rest of the squad, she becomes sympathetic to his people's dilemma and tries to help them. At this moment, the chemistry between Vladilena and Shinei grows into something different and pure. While these two try to find a way out, they learn a dark secret. The war with the Empire is not what it seems.
少佐は俺たちのことも忘れないでいてくれますか?
動けない。やだ。死にたくない。
That's that's when the story of 86 receives an intense kick. They begin to learn the truth about the harrowing extent of the Republic's actual predicament, the terrifying extremes to which the Republic has destroyed the principles on which it was discovered, and the dire reason why the Republic can never afford to take its persecutions of the 86 to the logical endpoint. Another noteworthy factor about the Republic that isn't clearly specified to the viewers is how well all of its inhabitants have white hair, blue eyes, and white skin, which already sets off warnings and gives the impression that this warfare may be more threatening than it seems. I think this aspect of the series explains the old martial system you'll get to witness in the first episode. It's safe to say that the anime deals with a series of unusual current issues affecting honestly from discrimination and racism to dealing with corrupt upper class to the terrifying realities of war and the inner trauma that comes from losing loved ones.
それで人間扱いしてやれてるだなんてよく思えるな。そもそもあんた、僕たちの本当の名前さえ一回だって聞いたことがないじゃないか。
As you can tell from the story, the anime is quite provoking in terms of two-world conflicts, but it's still the kind of thing you just have to watch in order to know what all the hype is about. Am I right? While I'm a huge fan of the story and everything in between, I believe Lena has a much more powerful role than Shinei. On one end, she's helping the 86ers. On the other, she's fulfilling her role as a handler, abiding by the strictest rules even though she despises them. But we can't blame her as she has been designed to be the kind of gal who will always abide by the rules. Because of her die-hard devotion for the state, she's been chosen to manage the 86ers. You could say that she dynamically leads them to their demise as a handler. Essentially, she's a battlefield commander, making all the calls, giving all the orders to her subordinates. They live and die by her word. What makes this position so difficult is that she belongs to the chosen race. Her uncle and father are part of the military power structure that has used the 86ers to fight against the Empire.
私にできることは最後まで。
了解。
己の利と欲のためだけにその聖女マグノリアを処刑した下劣な愚民どもの国家に何が期待できるというのか!
The official rhetoric of the Republic is that no human is involved in the war, which makes sense if you don't consider an 86er human, which automatically there is no world in which the 86ers and Lena could ever be considered equals. So in an era where she is the only one ostensibly interrogating the integrity of the Republic is a thought-provoking one. Everyone seems to be fine with the situation unfolding, taught and trained to consider the 86ers as inhumans, so why would anyone go above and beyond in order to help them? Lena is the only person who seemingly cares about the 86ers and who is noticeably disgusted with how the rest of the military treats them. Regardless of what the rest of the Republic thinks, Lena shows the 86ers respect and gives them words of encouragement wherever she's on seat. For Lena to be making the efforts to connect with 86ers is naive. For her to be quarreling with the current power arrangement when it doesn't benefit her is also naive. Given this issue, I have to hand it to her for being so stout and firm in her actions.
明日死ぬ前に今日首を吊っておくか。冗談じゃねえ。最後までついていくぜ。我らが死神。
Though this novel is classified as a sci-fi fiction production, some viewers might consider it a horror story. While a small number of horror elements do creep into the story, but when the phenomenon behind why the 86ers are called Black Sheep is finally clarified, the series comes off as a profoundly disturbing combination of pride and racism. In other words, this isn't a light series at all. The story isn't the slightest bit restrained about its subjects. It even goes so far as to cooperatively name its minority races. All those not the silver-haired, pale-skinned Alba as Colorada. Anyone with a fundamental knowledge of the 20th century Europe history should immediately recognize that the Republic is a conglomerate of traits from numerous early 20th century nations, particularly in its naming conventions, but draws heavily from the German War in 1930s. The biggest difference is that in this case, there is no Hitler-like tub thumper behind everything. Still, there is a population that is systematically ostracized to improve the standings of the majority race.
先に行きます。少佐。
Visually, 86 anime is an absolute win for fans. Ishii's direction and Sawano's score creates a series that won't let audiences look away for even a second. Yes, some scenes are excruciating, but they're also thoughtful in depictions of war and death. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment saying I subscribed, and I will personally reply to your comments. Also, turn on that notification button so you know every time I upload a new video. The 86 anime did leave quite the impression on me, so I'm sure its narrative potential will speak to you as well. Overall, if anything in this video isn't a complete turnoff, this anime is worth watching. I'll see you guys on my next video.